Okay, this is a full outreach masterclass where I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to close 2 to 5 high paying creators every single month for your AI infoscaling business. This is the exact same strategy I use to close the creators I'm working with. And thanks to this strategy, I've been able to make over 400K last year with this business model. Now, I'm not just going to tell you, I'm going to prove it to you. And I'm going to log in into my Stripe account and I'm going to show you the payments I received from my clients. And I'm also going to refresh the page so that you know it's true. Okay, guys, I'm inside my Stripe account and I'm going to show you these payments so you know that this is real. This is my actual Stripe account, as you can see. And I'm going to show these payments. I had to blur some information to protect my customers, obviously, but this is real. Let me show you some of these payments, and then I'm going to refresh the page. Let's look at here: 4,000, 7,000, 11,000, 6,000, 9,000, 5,000, 10,000, 8,000, 4,000, 11,000, a little 700. Don't remember what that's for, but it's here. 7,000 and 6,000. You get the point. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's 184 results, and yeah, it's a lot of them. It would take me forever to go through all of them, but it's just to show you that this is real. Now I'm gonna refresh the page and it's loading. And yeah, as you can see, it's still all here. Okay, now that we got the proof out the way, if you also want to sign high paying creators and receive these kind of payments in your bank account, then make sure you watch this entire video because this might be the most in-depth video on outreach that you ever come across on YouTube, and it might just change your life. It's a bit of a long video, but stick to it until the end, and I promise you everything is going to change for you. Now, let's get into it. So this is everything I'm going to cover in this full masterclass. I'm going to give you a brief overview on AI infoscaling in case you don't know how this business model works. I'm going to tell you what's preventing you from signing high-paying clients. I'm going to help tell you how to find non-saturated and high profitable niches. I'm going to tell you how to find the right creators to work with. I'm going to tell you how to qualify your prospects, how to build your prospect tracking sheet, how to track your data for outreach, and how to message the creators, emails, DMs, stuff like that. Also, I'm going to tell you how to create looms and send personalized looms at scale. And I'm also going to tell you how to close creators on a call. And lastly, just because I want it to be the most complete training ever, I'm going to show you the entire process live. So I'm going to go on YouTube, look for creators, add them to my prospect sheet, and write a personalized message for them. And I'm going to show you everything. So let's get started. So what is AI infoscaling? AI infoscaling is, in my opinion, the best business model of 2025. So if you ever heard the term growth operating, then think about that, but just 100 times better and easier. What do we do in AI infoscaling is we partner up with creators who already have a bunch of followers and we help them launch and scale offers. And when I say offer, I mean some kind of digital product like a course, one-on-one coaching, communities, etc. The type of creators we work with are usually coaches and consultants, so creators who teach other people how to solve a specific problem. That's why this business model is called infoscaling, because we help creators sell and scale info products. But why have I decided to call it AI infoscaling? How do we use AI in this business model? So you see, if you wanted to be a growth operator a couple years ago, it was a completely different story. This business model was not meant for beginners because you had to have a lot of skills. You had to have a very good understanding of copywriting and marketing as a whole. And just copywriting is a skill that takes months, if not years, to learn and really be good at. So, if you were a complete beginner, you cannot be a growth operator because it was simply too hard. It was just too hard for you. And this is what used to happen. People with no skills and no previous experience of online marketing would partner up with creators and then they'd panic because they had no idea on how to set up funnels, how to create landing pages, how to script VSLs, email sequences, etc. And so obviously they would end up fucking up everything and the creators would get mad and it was just a complete disaster. But things have changed completely since a couple years ago. If you would have asked me up until a year ago, hey, should I start growth operating? And you were a complete beginner, I would have said, fuck no, this is not for you. You need to learn a few skills first. And this is not the business model for you. But now we have AI. and AI has gotten exponentially better in the last year. Now, you can use it to script VSLs, emails, and do everything, and it actually does a good job. That's why now we can use AI to do 80% of the work for us. So it's never been easier to make money online. So this is exactly how we use AI in this business model. We use it to speed up the outreach process, and I'm going to show you how to do it later. We use it to create all the marketing assets that we need for the funnels. We use it to do market research. We use it to generate offers, to analyze competitors, and do many more things. So basically, we use AI to create landing pages, email sequences, webinars, script content, script VSL, everything. A couple of years ago, AI was pretty shit at doing all this stuff, but now it's good at it. But still, it's not quite perfect. And at the end of the day, it's still a robot. It's a machine, so it can't think like a human. That's why I said it can do 80% of the work for us, not 100. You're still gonna have to come in and edit a few things to make it perfect. But it's so easy now, and it's a huge time saver. Let's say you had to script an entire 30 minutes long VSL a couple years ago. It would have taken you at least a couple days to do this between all the market research, scripting, and editing. Consider that a 30 minutes long VSL is around 15 pages of a Google Doc, so it takes time to write 15 pages and make sure that they're perfect. But now with AI, you can do it in just a couple hours, and it's actually amazing. It's literally a cheat code. What used to take a couple days to create, now you can do it in just a couple hours, and it's amazing. So you need to make sure that you take advantage of this opportunity before it ends. Because right now, even if you're a complete beginner, you can start this business model and learn as you go. With the help of AI, you can speed up the process by probably 60, 70%. So take Aymar, for example, who is a member of my community. He closed his first creator in just 7 days. If you want me to help you do the same and sign your first creator in the next 90 days, you can check the link in the description. But let's move on. Now that you know how the business model actually works, let's move on into the actual strategies I use to find creators, message them, and close them. But before I do that, I need to first fix your mindset and remove all the false beliefs that you probably have. So, there are a few key reasons why you're struggling to get results from your cold outreach, and I'm going to tell you what they are right now. But first, you think that cold outreach doesn't work. You've probably heard people saying that cold outreach is dead, everyone's doing it, and it's too saturated. And I know, I understand. It feels like it's too saturated sometimes. But I'm here to tell you that a lot of these so called experts are wrong. Cold outreach is very much alive in 2025, but you just can't keep doing it like it's 2021. And the truth is that the only reason you're not signing clients from cold outreach is because you don't actually know the right way to do it. It's not because it's dead, and it's not because the market is too crowded. It's because 99% of the people are doing it completely wrong. They are blasting out the same low effort copy paste ChatGPT template messages to 1,000 leads, and then they wonder why nobody replies. If it was that easy, we'd all be millionaires. It takes a lot more effort than that, and you're gonna have to actually care. Now, let me tell you this quote that you probably already heard of. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that's exactly what's happening here. People are spamming the same broken strategy over and over and then complaining that outreach doesn't work. So let me ask you, if everyone is sending the same lifeless generic message to 1,000 people, what's the logical move? What's the most logical thing to do? It's to do the exact opposite. It's to do less volume, more intention, and more personalization. So you need to send fewer messages, but make them hit. You need to hyper personalize. Show them that you actually took 5 minutes to understand who they are and what they care about. And I'm gonna show you how to do this with AI later, so you don't have to actually spend time watching the content and going through their website or whatever. You can do this with AI much faster. But one thing you need to remember is that the first message is never about money. It's not about pitching, it's not about closing, it's about starting a real conversation. So you're planting a seed. You might not get the deal right away, but when you provide real value upfront with no strings attached, people remember you. And I've had people hit me up months after I reached out just because I gave them something useful without expecting anything in return. And that's how you build trust, and that's how you stand out. So do whatever it takes, send a free landing page, give them feedback on their funnel, share something they can actually use, And because that's how you play the long game and win. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this is hard, it's too slow, it's gonna take me forever to sign a client. And yes, it's hard, but everything worth having in life is hard to get. And the truth is, it's not even that slow. When your prospects feel that you've done your research, that you understand their problems, and that you're not just trying to sell them something, you'll get way more replies, more calls, and more deals with fewer messages. And yeah, it's more work on the front end, but the effort compounds and it pays off way bigger in the long run. People love to use that Ormozy quote, which is volume negates luck. And it is true to a degree, but here's what they don't say about this quote. That volume only works if you have the money to spend on the tools that let you send like 1,000 emails a day. And most people can't afford this tool, they're pretty expensive. And still, when you're doing cold outreach, massive cold outreach with these tools like instantly, success rate is pretty low, is like 1%, even less. So I don't think it's worth uh, I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. So here's my version of the quote, which is volume negates luck only if you have the money to afford the tools. Now, if you're serious about winning the cold outreach game in 2025, you need to focus on less volume and more personalization. Because I think that's the only strategy that works right now in 2025. And what you need to remember is that in this business model, we don't need to work with 10 clients a month to make a lot of money. You only need to work with two or three good clients. And my best month, I made over 100K and I only had a couple clients. That's why I stress the importance of quality over quantity. Because you don't want to work with any creator you find. You want to find the right creators to work with. And another reason why you want to avoid sending too many messages is because you're going to burn out pretty quickly. And I know exactly how it goes because you get all excited about the outreach and you have very high expectations. So you start sending 100 DMs a day and you think you can sustain it. But just after a couple weeks, here's what happens: you burn out because the volume is not sustainable. You don't see results because if you're focusing on volume, then that means you're not focusing on quality. And so you're sending the same shit to everyone and you wonder why no one replies. Eventually, you get discouraged and you give up. And this is inevitable if you just focus on volume. And the only way you can lose is if you give up. The only way you can fail at something is if you stop doing it. You need to think about it. The only way you can fail at outreach is if you stop sending out messages. So the smart thing to do is to pick a number that you can actually stick to every day. Whatever number you pick, just make sure that you do the same amount every single day. So I suggest that you pick a number between 10 and 30 because if you're gonna personalize the messages, then you probably won't be able to do more than 30 per day. So just pick a fucking number, you decide what that number is, and stick to it every fucking day and never stop doing it. Remember, the only way you can fail is if you stop. So don't stop, never. Okay, now we're done with the mindset part, and let's move on and see how to pick the right niche. Now, everyone tells you to go for the same niches, and you already know what I'm talking about: crypto, YouTube automation, copywriting, SMMA, dropshipping, the BizOp niches. And if you don't know, BizOp is a term that stands for business opportunity. And I know these niches are profitable, and I'm not going to say they're not. And there's a ton of money to be made in those spaces. So I'm not going to tell you to avoid them. You can 100% go after those niches if you want to. But you need to understand that that's what everyone is doing. Everyone is chasing the same few creators in the same niches, using the same outreach, with the same copy paste templates. So just know that if you decide to go into one of those BizOp niches, you're stepping into a very competitive space. And if that creator is already making 10 to 20K a month, they probably already have everything set up. They have a landing page, a VSL, email sequences. So they're not looking for someone to build it from scratch. So your best shot at that point is to, analyze their funnel, spot the flaws, and bring value immediately. Maybe, you can look at the VSL and it could be better. Maybe their emails suck. Maybe the CTA is not good, whatever. You need to find what's wrong with the funnel and you need to lead with it in your message and bring value immediately. And that's how you break into a saturated niche. But you gotta actually be good. Now, I want to take a step back and zoom out for a second because here's what most people mess up and get wrong. They spend days, sometimes weeks, trying to pick the perfect niche, and they treat it like it's a life changing, once in a lifetime decision. And it's not. And the truth is that picking a niche is not a high ROI activity. And why? Because if your first niche doesn't work, guess what? You can always change it. In business, speed is everything. So the people who win are the ones who take action the fastest. So let me give you a quick comparison to make you understand. We have guy number one who spends an entire week making a pros and cons list for every niche. He watches like 10 YouTube videos and finally picks one, starts the outreach, and realizes that it's not for him. And then we have guy number two. He watches this video, he picks a niche in like 10 minutes, he starts sending DMs, messages, emails, whatever. He gets feedback, and if it doesn't work, he switches immediately to a different niche. So who do you think is going to win? Obviously, guy number two, because he's collecting data, he's moving fast. And trust me, feedbacks beats theory every single time. Now, let's talk about how to actually find a good niche. So instead of just giving you a list of hot niches for 2025, I want to give you the tools to think for yourself. Because if I just say go for crypto, half of you will flood the same creators with the same messages tomorrow. And that's not the best option for you. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you 5 questions you need to ask yourself before picking a niche. So these are the 5 questions. Number 1, what do people already ask you for help with? Number 2, what would you talk about all day for free? Number 3, what skills do you have that other people find difficult? Number 4, what problem have you solved for yourself in the past 6 to 12 months? And number 5, are people already spending money in this space? So if you answer these questions honestly, you'll start seeing patterns and you'll start spotting niches where you actually have an edge. And if you have even a little bit of knowledge about a topic, it's going to be way easier to help creators in that niche. Because as an AI info scaler, your job is to help scale a product or offer. And to do that, you need to have a good understanding of the audience problems and what is their desired outcome. And you're gonna have to explain how the offer helps them get there. So let me give you an example. Let's say you know a lot about music production and you understand the audience, you know their pain points. You probably do a great job helping a music creator selling a beat making course, for example. But if you go into golfing and you've never golfed a day in your life, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to try to write a VSL and a landing page that actually converts. And that's because you don't know anything about golfing. So you don't need to be an expert, but if you at least have some knowledge of that niche and you care a little bit about that niche, it's going to be much easier for you to deliver results and, actually do a good job. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but what if there's no money in my niche? And let me tell you 2 things. 1, there's money in almost every niche. And 2, if it's your first client, it's not even about money yet. It's about getting your first case study. It's about proving to yourself that you can do it. You need to get real world experience, which is worth gold. So, if you're a beginner, don't worry about picking the perfect niche. Focus on getting in the field first. So here's what I do. Take 10 to 15 minutes, write down a list of stuff you're into, stuff that you're curious about, or topics that you already know something about. Then run each one through the 5 questions I gave you, and then pick 2 or 3 of them and go look for creators in those spaces. Start sending messages, get feedback, and if it's not working, just change direction and try a different one. That's it. Now, once you've picked a niche, how do you know if it's a good niche? Well, you need to ask yourself 2 questions. 1, does it solve a specific problem? And 2, is there enough market demand? So if it doesn't solve a specific problem, then you don't need to bother. You don't need to waste your time on it because no one pays for stuff that doesn't solve anything. So let's say you find a vlogger who sells merch. I mean, that's cool, but merch doesn't solve a problem. So it's much harder to sell. Now, imagine you find a creator who teaches divorced dads how to get back in the dating game. That's a problem, and that's a clear pain point, and that's an easy sell. So always ask yourself, what problem does this creator solve? And next, you need to check the market. You need to look at views, engagement, comment quality, and if there's no interest, move on. And one last piece of advice is to niche down as much as you can. Don't stop at fitness or self improvement because those are macro niches. You need to go down a few layers. So, for example, in the self improvement niche, there's a procrastination niche. And inside the procrastination niche, you can find something like procrastination for busy moms. I know it's a random example, but sometimes these weird niches can make a lot of money because these are things that no one is looking for and no one is thinking about. So just use your brain creativity and brain power to find something that no one is thinking about, because everyone else is going to fight for the same 100 make money online creators in the crypto and finance or whatever space. So you need to be a little bit different. So take 10 minutes, pick a few niches and start looking for creators and get moving. Don't overthink. Don't try to be perfect. Just take action fast because speed is everything in business. Now, even though I said all of this, I know there's still going to be a lot of you who have no idea on what niche to pick. So, since I want to make this the most in depth outreach masterclass, I want to help you. I want to help as many people as possible. So, I'm going to give you a list of what I think are the best niches to go for uh, in 2025. There are not completely saturated. And keep in mind, these are just to give you a starting point. You're still gonna have to do your own research and see which one works best for you. But here's a list that you can start using and look for creators. So we have Airbnb arbitrage, we have credit repair and funding, we have business credit and funding, build a personal finance brand, stock investing for beginners, learn to raise capital, self confidence for men, dating advice, relationship coaching, code exposure, breathing techniques, mental clarity, productivity hacks, quit porn, dopamine detox, low testosterone for men, biohacking for longevity. We have postpartum fitness and mental health, burnout recovery for corporate professionals. Then we have how to get promoted at work, remote job interview prep, leadership training for new managers, office politics navigation, resume, LinkedIn optimization, and lastly, switching careers in your 30s or 40s. Now, as I said, these are just a bunch of examples. There are many more, and you need to put in some work and find them and find the niche that's right for you. And as I said, don't waste too much time on it. Just pick one and start looking for creators. If it's not good, you can always change it. Okay, once you've picked a niche, it's time to start looking for creators, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, there are a lot of ways to find creators to partner up with, but you're going to find them mostly on social media. Now, technically, you can use any platform, but in my opinion, there are only two platforms that matter when it comes to finding the right creators to partner up with. And these platforms are Instagram and YouTube. That's it. Every client I've landed came from one of these two. I don't use TikTok. I don't use Twitter. I don't use LinkedIn. I don't use anything else. I just use Instagram and YouTube. And I'll explain why. First of all, YouTube and Instagram users are different, I think. The people who live on YouTube and Instagram are generally, they have better attention span. So they're used to watching longer content. So they're used to thinking a little bit deeper. So if you compare it to TikTok users, it's completely different because I think TikTok users are completely cooked. Their brains are fried. So I don't think it's worth it to look for creators on TikTok, for example. So yeah, if someone's only posting short form content, it's going to be a lot harder to help them sell anything meaningful. So it's a non-negotiable that the creator you partner up with is making long-form content. Even if you decide to look for creators on TikTok, for example, you need to make sure that they're making YouTube videos. And that's because of something called the 7-hour rule. And the 7-hour rule is a marketing concept that says that it takes about 7 hours of cumulative interaction between a lead and a brand before someone feels enough trust to buy from them. So basically, people have to watch 7 hours of your content before they can turn into customers. And if someone is just making short form content, it's gonna be a lot harder to accumulate 7 hours of watch time just because it's short form content and it's gonna take a long time. But if you're making long form content like 30, 40 minutes long YouTube videos, you're gonna build trust pretty fast and it's gonna be a lot easier to sell something, especially if it's a high ticket coaching, like a one-on-one coaching. That's why I think YouTube is the number one organic client acquisition platform. And now, this is how you look for creators on YouTube. First, you go on YouTube and you type in a keyword related to your niche. Let's say your niche is online fitness coaches. You just type online fitness coach into the search bar. And I know it's a broad niche, but it's just to show you the process. And what you need to do next is to filter the search results to this year or this month. And that's because you only want to work with active creators, people who are still posting consistently. After you filter the research, you're gonna have a bunch of creators to choose from. And now it's time to qualify them. The reason why you want to qualify your prospects is because you don't want to spend time reaching out to creators who are not a good fit for your business. So, spending more time qualifying the prospect is going to help you save time in the long run. You're going to have to qualify them based on these 5 criteria. First, they need to have between 3 to 100K subscribers. If they have under 3,000 subscribers, it's probably the audience probably is too small and it's going to be hard to sell something. But still, it depends on the niche. If they have over 100K, they're probably already making a lot of money and they have a team and they have all the systems in place. They probably don't need your help. So I think the sweet spot is between 5 to 50K, honestly. If you can find the creators in this range, I think it's perfect. Now, the second criteria is that they need to post consistently. They need to post at least 2 or 3 times a week. Because if they're not consistent, then they're not going to have momentum and it's not worth wasting your time on them because you're not going to be able to sell anything if they're not posting consistently. Now, the third criteria is they're solving a specific problem, and this is crucial. If their content doesn't solve a real specific problem, it's going to be hard to sell anything. So, for example, generic blog content, it's not good, but teaching divorced dads how to get back in the dating market, it's good because there's a clear, specific problem to solve. Now, the fourth criteria is they have an offer or they don't. You need to see that. You need to know if they're already selling something, and you need to know if they're selling a high ticket or a low ticket program. So you're gonna be able to bridge the gap and fill the gap. And for example, if they're only selling high ticket, then you can pitch a low ticket community. And if they're only selling low ticket, you can help them build a one-on-one coaching offer. And if they're not selling anything, you can help them create an offer from scratch. So you need to see if they're selling something or not. And the last criteria is they speak to a specific ICP. And ICP is ideal customer profile. And this kind of relates to the other criteria, the third criteria, which is solving a problem. So their content has to be specific to a type of person, and it has to solve a specific problem. And so after you qualified your prospects, you need to add them to your prospect sheet. And you need to build a list of 50 to 100 prospects before you actually start sending messages out. And there are a bunch of reasons for that. First, you won't waste time contacting the same person twice. Second, you can follow up properly. Third, you can scale systematically, so you can hire VAs and to help you with outreach. And four, you look more professional when they respond, because when someone replies 2 weeks later, when you can quickly reference their info and respond intelligently instead of having to remember who they are and what is their problem and all the information about them, because you're gonna have all the information saved in your prospect tracking sheet, so it's gonna be much easier for you. Now, your prospect sheet is gonna look something like this. You're gonna have full name, YouTube channel link, Instagram handle, email address. You're gonna have a column that it says whether you've contacted them or not. You're gonna have a column for personalized compliment, and I'm gonna show you how to do this with AI. Then you're gonna have a follow-up status if you followed up the first time, second time, how many times, and then you're gonna have a section for notes where you can save information about the offer and funnel and whatever you need. And that's really all you need in your prospect sheet. So make sure you build a list of 50 to 100 qualified prospects before you start sending messages, and because it will save you so much time later, trust me. When you have a list of 50 to 100 qualified prospects, it's time to move on to the actual outreach part. And this is the fun part, the most important part. You can do the outreach both through email and DMs, but I prefer emails because it looks more professional. But that's completely up to you. You can do only emails, you can do only DMs, or you can do both. Depends on you, whatever you want to do. But the strategy is always the same. So I'm going to give you a few templates, but first I want to teach you the framework that you can use to create your own outreach messages. First, you need to get their attention. So your subject line needs to stand out. If people don't open your message, then you will never close a deal. So you need to test 5 to 10 different subject lines. Use curiosity, use value, use personalization. Need to try different things and see which one gets the highest open rate. Once you get their attention, you need to focus on the body of the email. So you need to start with a personalized compliment. And don't be vague. Don't say something like, I really loved your last video, because they know you didn't watch the video. Now, I'm going to tell you how you can write an extremely personalized compliment using AI, so you don't have to spend time watching their content. Okay, guys, this is how you create an extreme personalized compliment to use for your outreach message without having to spend time watching the creator's content, without having to watch all these videos. These are pretty long videos, 15 minutes, 13 minutes. So if you don't want to spend time doing that, you can use AI to create personalized compliments without having to watch the videos, and this is how you do it. So you basically find the creator and you go on his YouTube page. In this case, I chose Sam Millsap, which is an online coach, pretty popular on Instagram. And basically, you're gonna go on his page, and you're gonna open a couple of his videos, recent videos on different tabs. Then you're gonna go on the videos, and you're gonna click here on the description, and you're gonna go on show transcript, and it's gonna show you the transcript of the video. What you're gonna do is select the whole transcript, and then you're gonna copy it, and then you're gonna go to ChatGPT, you're gonna paste it, and then you're gonna do the same thing for the other video. I'm gonna put some dashes to separate the scripts. You're gonna go to the other video, you do the same thing. You go on description, you go on show transcript. It's gonna load up the transcript. You select everything and copy. Go to ChatGPT and you go to paste. And yeah, that's it. You can do it with as many videos as you like, but I'm just gonna do it with these two. And then you use this prompt that I made for this specific task. So basically the prompt says, I've pasted a few scripts from a creator I found on YouTube. I want you to create 10 extremely personalized compliments that I can use as openings for my outreach message based on the scripts I've provided. My goal is to work with this creator and help him scale his offer and make more money. Make sure it sounds human and genuine, and don't add unnecessary stuff. Don't make it too long. 1 or 2 lines would be perfect. Basically, you copy this prompt. You can, save it, and so you can use it next times. You go to ChatGPT, paste it, and then you're gonna hit send. And it's basically gonna give you 10 extremely personalized compliments that you can use as a first opening line for your outreach messages. And these are, extremely personalized, and the creator is going to be impressed because it's actually going to think that you spend time watching the content. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to highlight their pain point, and most of the time the pain point is they're leaving money on the table, so they could potentially be making more money by selling a high ticket or a low ticket offer, or selling something if they're not selling anything. So this is the problem, the pain point. And after that, you're going to present the desired state. So you're going to show them what's possible. You can say something like, you could be making an extra 10K a month by, doing this specific thing, by, having a low ticket community or whatever. And after that, you're going to attach the Loom video where you explain your entire process, and you explain how you can help them. Now, I'm going to explain to you my own personal Loom strategy that allows you to send personalized Looms at scale. And I'm going to give you a framework that you can use to record your own Looms. I'm also going to show you an example of a Loom I recorded, so you have a reference to use for for your Looms when you're recording one. So this is my strategy. You're gonna have to create personalized Loom for each prospect. But here's what makes this strategy effective: that you can send them at scale. So here's how it works. You create a Loom video addressing the prospect by name at the beginning. Then you use AI to change the name without having to record a new video for each prospect. Because Loom has a feature that allows you to do that. So, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So when you record in the Loom, you say something like, "Hey Alex, I'm making this quick Loom for you to show you how you could be making way more money by adding a low ticket community to your business." Once you've done that, you can use AI now to clone your voice, and you can change Alex to whatever the prospect's name is. So instead of saying "Hey Alex" at the beginning, you can change it to whatever the name of your prospect is, like Mark, I don't know, a Mark. You can change it to whatever name it is. Without, and you don't have to record a new Loom each time. You can do this, you can record one Loom, and you can do this at scale by changing the name of the prospect, and you can change it to as many times as you need. So you could potentially create 1,000 different Looms just from one, and you can change the name at the beginning to all the names in your prospect sheet. And I think this is the best way in 2025 to send hyper personalized messages to people at scale and boost your conversion rates. But you're gonna have to show your face on camera. And I don't give a shit if you're camera shy. These creators receive hundreds, if not thousands, of emails and DMs every day. So you're gonna have to stand out and do something different. So if you're scared of showing your face, you just need to get over it. I'm sorry. Now, as an AI info scaler, you're gonna have three types of prospects mainly. First, creators who are not selling anything, then creators who are only selling high ticket, and then creators who are only selling low ticket. So you need to create 3 different looms for each type of prospect. Now I'm gonna give you frameworks that you can use for each type of prospect. For example, for creators who are not selling anything, you could say something like, "Hey, name, I noticed you have an incredible audience, but you're not monetizing them at all. I can show you how you could be making an extra 10 to 50K per month with your current following." And then on the body, you say you acknowledge their content quality and audience engagement. You explain the opportunity they're missing. You show them 2 or 3 specific ways that they could monetize. You give them a framework they can actually use, and then you provide maybe a mini case study of someone similar who succeeded. And then you're gonna have a call to action where you're basically gonna tell them to book a call and reply to the message. Now, for the second loom, this is for creators who are only selling high ticket. It's basically the same. You can say something like, "Hey, name, I see you're killing it with your $3,000 coaching program, but I've noticed you're not funneling the people who can afford your program into a low ticket product, and whatever." And then on the body, it's basically the same. You acknowledge their success with high ticket. You point out the missed opportunity, and because there are people who can afford a high ticket and would be willing to pay for a low ticket. And then you explain how a low ticket community would work as a feeder system. Then you give them a specific framework for the low ticket offer. And at the end, you always want to have a call to action to book a call. And I'm going to show you how you can put your calendar next to your Loom video so they don't have to go to a different page to book a call. Right after they're finished watching the Loom, they can immediately book a call. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then the third Loom is for creators who are only selling low ticket. And same thing, you can say something like, "Hey, name, I love what you built with your community, but I can see you're leaving serious money on the table by not having a high ticket, back end offer." And then on the body, you say, you complement their low ticket success, you explain the opportunity, and then you show them the math, and you say that just 10 high ticket clients at 3K would double the revenue, and then you give them a framework for the high ticket offer, and then at the end you want to have a call to action to book a call. Same thing. It's basically the same framework. You're just gonna have to change it based on the type of prospect, if they're selling low ticket, high ticket, or if they're not selling anything. Now, when it comes to attaching or sending the loom, you have 2 options. You can either ask for permission to send it, or you can just send it straight away. Now, if you ask for permission, it's a little bit more respectful, but either way, it's fine. You can, try and see which one works best for you. Now, I'm going to show you an example of a Luma recorded, and so you can have a reference, and I'm going to tell you how to use AI to personalize them. Hey, John, thank you for taking the time to watch this Loom. I'm going to make it quick because I know you're busy. My name is Alex, and I help creators like you in the self improvement niche scale past 20, 30K a month. I was taking a look at your YouTube channel, and I think you're doing a great job. I think you're killing it. But I've noticed that you don't have some sort of high ticket service and you only selling a low ticket product. And I was wondering what's the reason for that, because you could easily add an extra 10K a month to your revenue if you had one-on-one coaching, because your content solves a specific problem for a specific audience. So I'm sure there's a lot of people who'd be willing to work one on one with you. Now, this is what I do for a living, and I want to show you real quick how you could be making an extra 10 to 20K a month by launching a one on one coaching offer. So basically, this is the process. We're gonna redirect all your traffic from your social, Instagram, and YouTube to a landing page. And a landing page is something that looks like that. We have a headline and a VSL, and a VSL is a video sales letter. It's a 10 to 15-minute video where we explain how we can help the potential customer achieve the transformation that they want. And we're going to have a button here to book a call. Also, we're going to have a wall of results and testimonials to show proof that we can actually help them achieve that transformation. Once they're convinced, they watch the VSL and they see the testimonials and everything, they're going to click here to book a call, and they're going to be redirected to a type form page where we're going to ask them a few questions to basically qualify them and to see if they're a good fit for the one-on-one coaching offer. Once we see if they're qualified, basically, they're gonna book a call, and we're gonna have a quick sales call. At this point, they're basically already sold because they went through all the all the content, all the nurturing sequence. So they're gonna be basically sold at this point. And all you have to do is just close them and collect 2 to 4K. Now, in case we don't close them, we're gonna keep sending them emails, providing value and more testimonials. So basically, we get them to book a call again, and eventually we're gonna close them and collect the cash. On the landing page, we're also going to collect emails. So in case they don't want to book a call right away, we can send value and testimonials. So eventually we get them to book a call and close them and collect the cash. So this is the process. I've seen that your channel last month got 100,000 views. So I know for a fact that we can find 10 to 20 people willing to pay you 2 to 4K for a one-on-one coaching offer. And that's potentially $10 to $80,000 of extra revenue a month for you, just like that. Now, the best part is that I can set everything up for you completely for free, and you only pay me if you make money. So if I help you make more money, you just give me a little percentage, because I don't want your money if you're not making money. So John, if you're interested in my offer, you can book a call with me, and you'll see a calendar once you finish watching this Loom. And yeah, thank you for your time. Okay, guys. So once you've created your Miro board explaining the process and everything, and you've recorded your Loom, you can now personalize each Loom by changing the prospect name at the beginning without having to record a new Loom every time. So you can use AI and add an audio variable so it replaces the name you say at the beginning without having to record a new one each time. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So once you've recorded your Loom, you're going to click on the video, and then you're gonna, let me move my face. You're gonna go here to this edit tab, and then you're gonna click on add an audio variable. And in this example, in this Loom that I recorded as an example, I'm saying the name John. I'm saying hey John at the beginning. You can hear. So as you can hear, I said hey John. So if I want to change this, I just click on the name here on this script, and I'm gonna click to convert John to a name variable, and then you can add a variable to the title of the Loom as well, but I'm gonna skip it for now. And now you click here and you just add a bunch of names. You can add multiple names at once. So you can add, for example, Mark, I don't know, Josh, I don't know, Christian, Alex, whatever. You can add multiple names, how many names you want. And then you can click on create 4 looms right here, and it's gonna generate 4 different looms. So it's basically gonna replicate the first video and change the name with the names that I've typed in that little space. So it's gonna generate 4 looms. Oh, hold on. gonna have to wait a little bit because it's generating. Okay, now click on this one and let's see here. And as you can see, it said A mark. Let me slow it down because it's too slow. It's too fast. I mean, so as you can hear, it said mark, and let's click on this one. And let's hear. And it said, "Hey Christian, so you've created 4 personalized looms with just one video, recording one video, and you can do this at scale. And yeah, this is how you do it. And I think this is a game changer. Let me show you guys how you can add the link to your calendar. So as soon as the prospect is done watching the loom, they can immediately book a call without having to go a different page. So before you do that, you're gonna have to go to calendly.com and create an event. Your calendar, you're gonna have to create your calendar here. And once you've done that, you're gonna have a link, and you're gonna have to copy this link. You go back to your Loom page on the video, and you go here to add a link. This part at the bottom here, and then you just add the link, and it says your Calendly will appear at the end of the video. And text, you just say book a call, and that's it. And then you're gonna have to go on save, and that's it. So now once they're done watching the loom at the end, the calendar is gonna pop up so they can immediately book a call with you. And yeah, that's how it's done. Okay, once you've recorded the loom and you've sent the message, you need to start tracking data. You need to learn how to track your outreach data, because if you're not tracking your data, it's like shooting blindfolded. You have no idea where to aim and how to improve. So the only way to refine your outreach is by knowing exactly where the weak points are. And that starts by tracking 2 key metrics, which are open rate and reply rate. And let me break down why these matter. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you the software that I use to track my data for the outreach messages. And the software that I use is called Mail Suite. You can go on Google and you type Mail Suite. And then you're going to go to this page, and all you have to do is connect your Gmail account to this software. Now, there is a free version and there is a paid version. Both are fine. If you have the money to spend, you can pay for the paid version. It's a little bit better, but if you're just starting out, the free version is fine. It's totally fine. You can use that. But this software allows you to track if the prospects open your emails. And if you can see here, if you can do campaigns, or you can send individual emails, and it's going to tell you the open rate. And as you can see here, I've sent a lot of emails, and it tells me the open rate 38%, 44%. This one were 58%, so pretty high. And yeah, basically, it also tells you, if you click on one of these campaigns, it also tells you how many times the prospect opened your email. So if you can see here, this particular prospect opened this email 4 times. This one opened it 10 times. So that's a good sign. If a prospect open your emails more times, that means that they're interested. So if you see that they open your emails a lot of times but they don't reply, it's good to follow up as soon as you can, because it means that they're interested. They're just thinking about it. So you can just send another email, follow-up email, and provide some more value to convince them to reply to your email and get them on a call. So this is the software that I use. It's pretty easy to use. It's pretty straightforward. Then you're gonna have to track the reply rates by yourself, but it's pretty easy. And I'm gonna show you how to do that. First, open rate. If people aren't opening your emails, they aren't even seeing your message, and which means that the subject line is likely the problem. So the solution is to test different subject lines and track which one gets the highest open rate. And this is your first step to getting attention. If you're sending individual emails and not campaigns, you're gonna have to calculate the open rate manually. And I know it's a pain in the ass, but this extension is just useful to see if people open your emails. Now, here's how you calculate the open rate. Basically, you uh, divide the number of opens by the total email sent, and then you multiply it by 100. So, for example, if you sent 100 emails and you got 10 opens, you divide 10 by 100, and that's 0.1, and then you multiply by 100, and that's a 10% open rate. Then you're gonna have to track your reply rate because getting people to open your emails is only 50% of the work. And if they're not replying, that means that your offer is probably not good, and you need to change a few things in the body of the email. So the solution is to keep refining your message and your offer until it becomes a no-brainer for them to respond. And this is how you calculate the reply rate. You divide the number of replies by the total email sent, and then you multiply by 100. So for example, if you sent 100 emails and you only got 10 replies, you divide 10 by 100, and that's 0.1, and then multiply by 100, and you get a 10% reply rate. It's basic math, guys. I know. I'm pretty sure you can do this. And yeah. So another thing you need to keep in mind when tracking if prospects open your emails is that the software I told you counts previews as open emails. So let me explain. When you receive an email on your phone, you see something like this. It's a notification. And this is a preview. And this software sees previews as open emails. So when you track if prospects open your emails, you should not count the first open. You should start counting from the second open. So if a prospect has opened your email twice, it means that they actually opened it and read it. So if you see this on Mail Suite, you see one open, then it doesn't count as an open email. But if you see this, two opens, then it counts as an open email, and it means that they actually opened it and read it. Now let's talk about follow-ups. So when it comes to follow-ups, there is not much to say. Every 3 or 4 days, you need to follow up with each prospect. So you're gonna follow up at least 3 times, up to 6 times with each prospect. And when people say money is in the follow-up, they're not lying. Because creators and business owners are busy people. So they might forget about your message. Maybe they read it, they were interested, but they got busy and they forgot. So you need to make sure that you follow up at least 3 times, and you can go up to 7 times if you need to. Now if after 7 times they still haven't replied to you, then you can just move on. But I would follow up at least 3 times. 3 times is the bare minimum. If you've done everything correctly and you get a creator to reply to your email and to book a call, now it's gonna be time for you to have a sales call. And I'm gonna give you a basic framework that you can follow, to structure your sales calls. So I'm just gonna tell you, in my experience, what works and what doesn't, and what you can expect from these calls. So the first and most important thing is to not look and sound desperate. You're being pushy and salesy, and the prospect sees that you're there just to make some money, then they're not gonna want to work with you. So don't act like this is your only call and you need to make this money to pay rent or you're gonna be evicted. Even if it's true, you need to act confident and you need to be genuine. So kind of act like you don't care if you don't sign a creator, because you already have 10 other clients paying you 10K a month. Fake it. I'm not saying to be cocky or arrogant, but you need to be confident. So don't go from one extreme to the other. Don't go from sounding desperate to being overly confident and cocky. Just act like a fucking normal human being, have a normal conversation with another human being. Be curious, ask questions, about their business, try to understand more about what they do, and, why they do certain things, why they don't do certain things. And, people are going to tell you what they need. You just need to ask questions. So I'm going to give you a basic framework that you can use to structure your calls. First, you have the intro, and this is the purpose is to build rapport, to set expectations, and you're going to have to take lead of the conversation. Then we have the discovery phase, and on this phase, you just understand more about their business, their goals, and what's holding them back, and you let them do 70 to 80% of the talking. So you need to ask questions like, what's working for you right now? Have you ever considered or tried doing, this other thing? What are your revenue goals for the next 3 to 6 months? What's stopping you from getting there? What have you tried so far to solve this problem? These kind of questions. Then you have the elevate the gap phase, and the purpose is to reflect their goals and emphasize what they're missing. So basically, if they told you they're missing something, you're gonna emphasize it and you're gonna repeat what they said. You're just gonna have to repeat their problems. So you emphasize the gap. And then we have the position, the solution phase. And the purpose is to show how you can help without, going into overwhelming detail. And you need to speak in terms of outcomes and not deliverables. And, you can use a language like, I'm going to help you add X amount of revenue without doing, without you doing Y, you're going to have to say something like this. And then lastly, you're going to have to close. Basically, you're going to tell them how it's gonna look like to working together, and you're gonna basically explain your offer and the exact process how you're gonna help them. Okay, that's everything you need to know about outreach. Now I'm gonna show you a live walkthrough of how I look for my prospects, how I qualify them, and how I add them to my prospect sheet. And I'm also gonna show you what I would write in an email. And yeah, enjoy it. Okay, guys, I'm gonna show you everything, how I look for creators on YouTube, how I qualify them, how I add them to my prospect sheet, and how I would write an email for them if I were to actually work with these creators. And the niche I decided to go for this example is how to lose belly fat for women. And we're gonna look for creators, qualify them, and do all that. I'm gonna show you everything. So I'm gonna go to a brand new incognito window so my YouTube search doesn't affect the, search for the prospect, and I'm gonna type how to lose belly fat women. Let's see. I'm gonna filter the results to this month, and let's see, what do we have here. Okay, 36,000 views. Let's see what she's doing. I'm gonna open on another tab. So this one looks good. She has a lot of videos, so it means that she's posting consistently. Let's see. Yeah, 7 days, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. So she's posting pretty consistently. She's in the follower range, so she has 46,000 subscribers. And if you remember the criteria, we need to look for creators who have between 3 and 100K subscribers. So we can check this one. She's posting consistently. Check. Solving a specific problem. Well, this is a specific problem because, well, she's helping women lose belly fat in particular. So it's very targeted to a specific ICP. So I would say that checks. Let's see if she's selling something or not. Let's see on the links here. So she has a website. Let's see what she's doing. Okay, just like that, the website is not the best. It could be a lot better. Maybe she could have a VSL. So if I were to contact this creator, maybe I could pitch like a VSL or something just to start. And let's see what she's selling. Nutrition plans, fitness programs, ebooks. So she's selling $20, $15, $39. So this is low ticket stuff. I think she could be selling a high ticket offer because, she has a very specific audience, which is women who want to lose belly fat, probably older women in their 30s or 40s, maybe 50s. So I think she could make a lot of money with a high coaching, with a high ticket offer, like a one-on-one coaching. So let's see what are the next steps. So basically, we found the creator and we qualify the creator based on the 5 criteria, and she checks all the criteria. So we can move on to adding this creator to the prospect sheet, and I have my prospect sheet right here. So I'm gonna paste the YouTube link of our channel, copy, paste here. Do this, and then full name, Emily. I don't know her last name, but it doesn't matter. We don't care about that. We just need the first name. So the Instagram handle. Let's see. Let's find it. So there you go. Let's open it on a different window. What's going on? Why? I don't care. What the fuck? Oh shit. Well, it doesn't let me open it on a incognito window, so I'm just gonna energize with Emily Fitness. I'm just gonna type it. Energize with Emily Fitness. Okay, date added. Today is the July 8th, 2025. Email. Let's see her email. Okay, so I would need to go to, I can access the email on an incognito window, so I need to look for this channel on my normal YouTube. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm just gonna paste it here. Let's see the email address. So okay, so unfortunately the recording got interrupted, so I'm just gonna keep going from where I left off. So basically I got the email from our YouTube channel and I pasted the email on the prospect sheet right here. And guys, please don't start spamming this creator. I'm just showing you as an example, but don't start spamming this creator, please. And okay, so I pasted the email, and then here on status, I just put new lead. So last contacted, we haven't contacted her yet. So we're gonna leave that. Personalized compliment. So basically, I'm gonna go on our YouTube. I'm gonna open our last video on a different tab, like I showed you earlier, guys. We're gonna go to the description, show transcript, and then I'm gonna copy the whole transcript here. And then I'm gonna copy it, go to ChatGPT, paste it. And then I'm gonna go to the prompts that I have here. I'm gonna copy this prompt right here, which is the same prompt I gave you earlier. Copy ChatGPT. I'm not gonna use the shortcuts Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V because my OBS fucks up every time I use it. So I'm just gonna have to click and click paste here. Slow as fuck, but whatever. So basically, I copied and pasted the transcript from the video and the prompt. And what I'm gonna do is hit send, and it's gonna come up with 10 unique compliments that you can use for your outreach message. And I'm gonna wait for it to be finished. And let's see how good they are. The way you opened up about your eating disorder and body dysmorphia hit me. You're explaining how ADHD impacts your videos and everything feels so real. Well, these are all good, to be honest. So you can use any one of these. I'm just gonna pick one for the sake of the video to make it fast. I'm just gonna pick the first one. So basically what I'm gonna do is go here because I have a template for my emails. So basically I'm gonna copy this template and I'm gonna go on ChatGPT. I'm gonna paste it here, and then I'm gonna basically copy this prompt, this different prompt here. Copy this one, go here, gonna paste it. And the prompt says, now I want you to implement the complement into this template. So I'm gonna pick the first complement. So I'm gonna change this to, now I want you to implement the first complement into this template. And then I'm gonna hit send. And it's gonna implement the complement, and it's gonna basically write a hyper-personalized email for the prospect. So, hey, and then you're gonna change the name to Emily. Hey, Emily, just wanted to say the way you opened up about your eating disorder and body dysmorphia hit me. It's rare to see that level of honesty online. Really liked how you shared your story so openly while still tying it back to your mission and helping others. Anyway, I noticed you're not offering a high ticket service like one-on-one coaching, at least not publicly. And I was curious, is that intentional? Because based on your content and how dialed in your audience is, you could easily be adding an extra 10K a month with a simple high ticket backend. I recorded a quick loom where I walk you through a framework you can use to launch it, even if you've never sold anything high ticket before. Would it be cool if I send it your way? No pressure at all. Worst case, you walk away with a few actionable ideas you can run with. Appreciate what you're doing, and then you have your name. And as you can see, you have a perfectly good personalized email that you can send to this prospect, and she's gonna be impressed because the compliment really makes the difference. It shows that you watched the video, even though you didn't. You just used AI, but she's gonna think that you actually took the time to watch her content. So she's basically gonna be more inclined to reply. And what you can do also for your prospect sheet, you can add the, because you're not going to send the message right away, so you can copy the compliment. You can copy it and go to your spreadsheet and paste it here. Basically, I'm gonna send, and then here on notes, basically you can add things like if she's selling like a low ticket or a high ticket, or if she's not selling anything. So basically, I'm gonna just write she's only selling low ticket products, ebooks, nutrition plans, etc. So basically, you have all information you need. So when it's time to actually send a message, you don't need to go back to her channel. You have everything you need here on this prospect sheet, and it's gonna make things much easier, smoother, and faster. So this is what I do. This is my way of doing things. You can implement these strategies and make your outreach more personalized and better. And yeah, that's it. And go implement these strategies to your outreach. Okay, thank you for watching this video and sticking to the end. I know it was a bit of a long one, but I hope you got some value out of it. And if you want me to help you sign your first creator in the next 90 days, then you can check the link in the description. And yeah, that's it. And I'll see you in the next one.